How should I do this introduction? How do you say your last name? Welcome to Columbia Gorge Locals. I am your host, Joey. Today I have a guest here who is going to talk about the Cherry Festival, and it is Lisa from the Dalles Chamber.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day. It's all of above in my world.
Yeah.
It's just all of blur.
You've had a chaotic morning?
We did. We've had a few things. We're still trying to finalize a couple major details, but I have faith that it's going to happen. As you know, with the construction, it has proved to have some challenges, both negative, impacting as far as size, location, and all that, but just more of a challenge of being strategic, and feel like you're just playing this ultimate game of Tetris over the whole downtown of the Dalles. Yeah. It's like which piece will fit somewhere and still make sense.
Sure.
So, as you know,
and
we've been doing that. Yeah.
It wasn't like we're gonna move this because I said so, or we're gonna move this because of something. Because there's a lot of different opinions that's out there, and then you see all this stuff, and it's not because of one person's thing. There's a lot of pieces that go into this, right?
Yes, and the move all started with the multiple construction projects in our downtown. As you know, many things, we've had it on First Street, and the advantage of doing where we've done this is that the Carnival and most of the vendors don't block any front door of any business. It is pretty clear of that because of the location. Well, that is all dug up and under construction, so you can't quite put anything back there. Yeah. So then we had the job of, where are we going to put
what are they doing back there on First Street?
So they're redoing the entire First Street. There is some structural damage that they have to fix because of wear over many, many, many years and how the streets were built way back when. So they're tearing those up and restructuring to so that they don't collapse. And then there's also the beautification project that they've been doing, so that will be in the end. It'll have sidewalks and streetscape and trees, and so it'll be pretty, and the parking lot will be flat. Yeah. And no curbs coming up. And, and some of that is an issue when we're putting a huge venue, event back there. Yeah. We have over 80 vendors plus the entire carnival and the grand entrance that we shove all along First Street and then between First and the alleyway of Second. And so there's quite a bit of commerce going on, of people and traffic. And so some of those curbs really needed to be replaced. The sidewalks were falling apart and collapsing. So that will all be done, but that's not going to be until late spring, early summer of 2027.
Oh, geez.
So this is a lasting, and it was a challenge for us. Where can we put all these things? Because that's a lot. Yeah. 80 vendors, a big, huge carnival.
How many vendors?
80 is what we typically have. And so then we had community fair, then we have dancing horses, a car show, and then, the parade. So there's lots of different factors and things that we had to try to fit together. And so we did 6, I believe, at the end, there was 6 different site visits that we had to do. And we're looking for spacing, access, weight of what we're putting on whatever we were.
I didn't even think that.
And then power, and then water, and then making sure that whatever we didn't block any emergency access roads determined by our fire department and our police department and our sheriff. So we had to work with all of those constraints. Yeah. That's a nice word. So yes, we had to work with all of that. And so we did many different sites, and it's like, no, we can't do that there because of this. No, we can't do that there because of this. No, we can't do it on that because it's too heavy. No, because we're going to be blocking this. So we went site by site by site by site. And then finally, as many people know, we had tried Fourth, and then I said, that's not going to work. And the city's like, well, actually we could probably do this, and we could probably do this. And so I went back to 4th Street and said, I think we can make this all fit if we do this, this, and this. And as many of you saw unfold on social media, that did not work. And I want to reiterate, guys, I was just trying. It wasn't meant to be mean or bossy.
It's not like you were trying to hurt somebody's feelings.
No, it's like, yes, we did listen to you at the very end. And it's like, okay, the only way we're going to make this work is if we decrease the vendor area by half and decrease it from 3 days to 1. And then move it to a spot so that it can at least somewhat flow. We're going to have to separate the community fair over to this and this. And so what we have now is where it's going to be for Cherry Festival. And most of the events are on Saturday only, the 25th. But the carnival will be 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, at the Lewis and Clark Park.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so they'll be there. They'll be functioning. And you're like, oh, it's going to be smaller. Well, I will tell you, Rainier Amusement, we came down, we sat down with one of the public works guys for the park, and he's like, okay, well, we can put this on the lawn because that's not going to weigh anything. We can do these with the kid things because we have enough base. We can put the food things here so that way we can fill up the parking lot with actual rides, bigger rides. So it might be a couple rides smaller, but I don't think it's going to be that much smaller than what they deliver. It'll just be a different configuration.
Yeah, smaller walkways.
Yep. So that will be going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're coming in the Monday before to start setting up and talk about Tetris. Oh my goodness. We're going to have to, I'm trying to locate a spot for them to stage the trucks so they can get them all here and then figure out exactly, get them in, dump it off and get the truck back out because they can't just do like they did on first and second.
Yeah, they can just park anywhere down there, huh?
Yeah, so they have that to figure out. I finally have camping figured out. I just got to find them some water. So, it's all those little things you don't think of that go into a festival. But I think we have it's kind of a skinny Z that makes our festival go through the downtown. So we're still in the downtown. We're still trying to be aware of businesses that might get blocked, not blocked. And so we have a map and we'll be releasing that again this week just to remind people where things are. But we actually added a new thing with all of this. We've always had a community fair, which is our nonprofits and organizations coming, and it's free. Our sponsor covers all the vendor fees. And we have an open air market, which those people are paying, which I'll get back to that in a second. But then we added in the parking lot between the Civic and what we used to call as kids the Medical Arts Building. That parking lot, Christopher he's the property owner, is letting us use it. Thank goodness. That's going to be the children's fair, activities fair.
Cool.
So we're going to have bouncy houses. They're donated by Sawyer's. We're going to have the art center is going to do something for the kids. BMO Bank has a big, huge activities and everything that they're doing free for the kids. We're trying to get Home Depot to come and do a little build thing. So
we take our daughter to that every month.
Yeah,
It's so fun.
so we're trying to get them to come for the day at this. So we're filling it up with activities for the kids, and most of them will be free. There will be a few that have a cost. I know that one of the parents clubs is going to utilize the bouncy houses. They're going to man them for us, take care of everything. So there will be a small fee because that's going to be their fundraiser.
Sure. Yeah.
What a way. They're going to help us out and be there all day long. So that's their fundraiser. So that's new this year.
Yeah.
So we're like in the midst of everything, we still added a new feature, which we thought was incredible.
I mean, I could be wrong because I don't have the set of eyes on it like you do, but there wasn't a whole lot of younger kid stuff. Like the bouncy houses and everything.
Yeah, there was mostly at the carnival itself. There's little kiddie rides. There is the small kiddie rides, but of course they do cost. So this way there is a few options. So if you're not a person who wants to take their kid all day to the carnival, which we understand, there will be some things that you're going to just do one or two of.
Cool.
And they will be fairly low cost so that less than $10 total for a kid to do a few things right there.
And for them to go nuts for an hour, $10 is worth it.
Yeah. As parents, yes. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So that is being added. That's new. And then that'll be attached. It makes like of a T onto the 4th Street by the Civic. And that will be all community fair. And there's a bunch of activities happening because a lot of those are in the nonprofits doing their fundraisers. And I feel bad. I can't remember if it's the college or the high school, but one of them has a mobile miniature golf course. So that will be set up and you will be able to play miniature golf right there in the street. So, so we'll be having that. For one of the groups. I think it's the high school. But I apologize, guys, if I have the wrong one. But that's going to be going on, and there's a ton of different things that are be happening on that street. And that community fair is being sponsored by Columbia Bank. And then our children's fair, which is brand new, is being sponsored by Underwriter Ford.
Oh, awesome.
So some of those things we're having to pay for to get there, and then we'll have the insurance for that. And so their sponsorship helps us cover all those costs. And so it's just huge. We finally got all of our Cherry Sweetheart sponsors as of last week. So just a little panic moment, but we got them.
Well, it can't be anywhere near cheap to run this entire thing.
No, a normal 3-day event usually is around the 50 to 60 grand mark for our direct cost. And then there's some indirect cost that sometimes comes up, but usually it's 50 to 60 grand. And if you have 10 spots for the Sweetheart sponsorship at $2 grand each, that's 20 grand. So I'm going to be upfront, honest. We get a kickback from the Carnival for pre-selling their tickets. That literally helps us pay and keep us just a little bit above the black for the festival.
Wow.
So without it, we're in the red.
And how long have you been involved in the Cherry Festival?
So this will be my 14th one.
Jeez.
I did my very first one in 2013, and it was 1 day long, 1 block long.
And how much was it to set it up then? Do you remember roughly?
No, I don't, because I was so new, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're going through all this work for 1 day.
Yeah.
And then
that's a lot.
Yeah, and at that time, the carnival, I guess, was at the old rodeo grounds. I didn't even know we had a carnival in town because they weren't connected and they didn't communicate with Chamber. So
I remember it being at where Home Depot is
when
I was
really?
a kid. I think. I could be wrong on that.
Somebody has said that was one of the locations. It wasn't until, probably maybe 8 years ago. 9 years ago, 8 or 9, that we finally talked to the Carnival and said, how about if you join us in the downtown? And for the first time, we had a carnival along First Street with trees and the main. It was so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, we stepped it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went from 1 day and 1 block. I've had some different event coordinators and directors, and eventually we moved it to, I believe, 2 or 3 blocks, still 1 day, and then we moved it to a 2-day, and then we moved it over to First Street to be a 3-day event, several blocks long.
So it's not going to be a forever thing. It'll go back to that eventually once everything's all done.
It's the optimal location is there on First, because once again, we're not impeding any fronts to the businesses. We do bump up to the backs of some businesses, but we're hoping that those take advantage of, well, you've got lots of people, lots of traffic. Do you have sales going on? Do you want foot traffic?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask. Do you see more businesses getting more customers downtown?
We do. We definitely see our restaurants. That's their highest sales day ever is Saturday of Cherry Fest.
Cool.
And usually the weekend is their highest weekend ever is during Cherry Festival. So we want to make sure we keep that up. We go to lengths. We have a certain amount of food vendors that we allow, and we cap it. We have a certain amount of retail and we cap it. We also make sure that we don't have redundant retailers. We don't want 5 jewelry people or this. We try to keep it unique so that one can do well, but we're also not just hugely duplicating. So then our retail that's in brick and mortar is not getting it either.
That makes sense. That's something I never thought of either.
So we're very careful on that. The last 2 or 3 years, our food vendors at the festival have had their record sales ever and ran out of food in some situations, along with our food vendors having their record sales. So that tells us that we have a good balance. We haven't overburdened or under on either one of them. They're both doing well. But if we had more food vendors at the festival, then we might be taking those sales away from our downtown businesses.
That's a lot to think about because if you asked me what you do for the festival, I would assume you call these people and they say, yeah, I want to do it, or no, I don't. And then you put them in there, then they just kind of do their thing. You have a lot to do. Like, I never thought about competing sales and stuff like that.
Right. So we always are conscientious about that so that our businesses that are brick and mortar here do best. And then we give priority to vendors who are local, obviously, and even a bigger priority to vendors who are chamber members, because we have a lot that are non-brick and mortar businesses, and they actually come and vend. They get a discount at the festival for being chamber members. It's a pretty huge discount. And so we do all that. But the other thing that we have to consider is, are you wanting a 10 by 10, a 10 by 20, a 10 by 30? Are you wanting 3 things of power of 15 amp each? Or do you need a 30 amp or a 50 amp? And how much power do we have coming from each of those poles for each of those boxes? We have a whole formula over the last 3 years that we have figured out for the whole festival area of First Street.
So now you just got to change all of it.
Discover Rental and I have sat down for many lengthy conversations looking at, even though we got half of the vendors of what we could have, we still had power needs, 50 amp, 30 amp, and 15. So we had to figure out, where do those go? Well, we only have 2 sources to pull those from, and neither of those are right in where those vendors are. So we have to run powers and spider boxes and all of that. So we've already sat down and did all that and figured them out. We think we've got it. But yeah, those are some of the parts and pieces that I had to evaluate by doing the site visits. Nope, that's not even possible. Can't even access the power that we need. It was a stretch even on 4th Street because all the power sources were in the alleyways between 4th and 3rd. Oh. So I would have had to pull huge extensions off of those power poles to get it to. And we were to the point where it's like, okay, everybody's going to have to use a generator, which we don't like because it's too noisy. And it's not appealing. And so we try to keep no generators are allowed. We're very specific on what we allow and what we don't allow. Several of our vendors said, hey, we just can't make the trip. It's too far for only one day. 95% of those said, hey, we get it. We understand. Please keep us on our list. We want to be back when you're back to 3 days.
Well, it sounds like it was either move it to Lewis and Clark or we skip it.
For the carnival, yes. I even had considered moving it to Lewis and Clark for the festival itself and then putting the carnival down First Street, but that was before I knew that there was a project on First. So going from the overpass going west on First, that was even a project. And I was like, well, that's not going to work either. Because I just had this dream of putting the Ferris wheel on First Street next to the waterfront and having it dark with the lights. But that didn't work either. So like I said, we went through here and there going back and forth. My life has been maps, placement, needs, access since October.
So do you have a team that does this, or how does it work?
So it's my chamber team. And then I have a few of people that I rely on, like Bishop Sanitation, Discover Rental, obviously Public Works in the city, and then Urban Renewal because we're using some of their property. But for the most part, Discover Rental and Bishop and Northwest Natural are my biggest 3 people that help with this, and then my board and my staff. But basically, it's mostly my staff. They're the ones who are the feet on the ground. And there's a few of us in there that have done Cherry Festival for many years. But this year, I only have a couple who've done Cherry Fest. The rest are new. So it's a new experience for them. And they're going, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
but
probably the same shocked blank face as me is like, oh.
Yeah, so, but we're moving ahead. All of the elements are the same. Let me say this, is that even though we shortened it to most of the activity is just Saturday, going back, that's what we did many years ago. It was just Saturday. We will have Carnival Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but there is no element that happens last year that's not happening this year. Mm-hmm. We kept it all. We have the little royals, we have the parade, we have the dancing horses, we have the vendor market, we have the community fair. We added the children's fair. And then we also have the cherry hunt, which is our cherry trail. We're doing that again. And we're really encouraging the businesses to be a part of it so that we can get more people into their businesses with the diminished days of the event. The other piece that's coming back, which I'm super excited, Tiffany over at the Civic had a long conversation with Randy Haynes, and they're bringing back the Cherry Stomp Dance, which used to be, and that was huge. So I was like, of a year that is changing this and diminishing, something from the old was brought.
Yep.
And I love that tradition is coming back on that Saturday night. So what better way to do that?
Tiffany's doing great too. She, Randy's of course my father-in-law, and she had reached out to me. She had reached out to me and she's like, hey, I want to make sure this is like how it was. And I want to make sure all these elements are there, but I also want his blessing to be able to do this. And it was very sweet of her to encompass that into this new part. So that was really neat.
I told her it was perfect. I was like, can't think of one better event to bring back than that. And I was like, what a tribute. So it's
I gotta
awesome.
Get her on next week to talk about that
There
too.
You go. And then of course the car show will be there. So there isn't any element, guys, that is missing that we did last year or the last previous few years. And so I will say I'm thankful for the sponsors who stepped up. We're still looking for sponsors. Hint, hint. Help pay for the event. But we figured it out. We figured out a way. And as some people said there was a log of negativity because it's change. It's different. It's not what they had just last year. Well, no, it can't be. But guess what? We get to do it.
Oh, people get upset if a fire hydrant changes colors. It's an uproar.
Ooh, I could do that. Maybe I could do that and distract everybody that there's something else going on different. Let's just go paint the fire hydrant.
And I am terrible at drawing, so I'll just do all these custom drawings. And they're like, is that a toddler doing this? I'm like, no, man, it's me.
Yeah, it's just chalk painting, right? So, I have to say, guys, we found a way to keep our tradition. It's still here. It's still happening. It just looks a little different.
Yeah, and it's not forever.
Right. And we need all of you to show up, support the businesses, especially those on that cherry hunt trail. It's a lot of fun. There's two ways to win. You can do a passport or you can do an app. Both of them, there's two big prizes, $400 worth of the basket each. But also supporting the vendor market because these people, some of them are still traveling from out of town and doing it for the one day.
The other thing is, if you're mad and you're boycotting it because it changed, you're not affecting who you think you're affecting.
Right.
You're affecting these people who put their time and money into it.
Exactly. You're not. I'm sorry, but if that's the route you're going, then maybe. I'm sorry, but stay home.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody said that, but I can see that happening. Just
right.
All the negativity that you see sometimes.
So here's our thing. We're doing this. It's the 45th one under the purview of the Northwest Cherry Festival. And yeah, it's my 14th. This was way different than I had ever thought was going to happen to this event because we've grown it so much.
Yeah, you had to pivot too.
I need everybody to show up.
So what does the Cherry Festival represent for the community?
So it represents many things. Let's go to the meaning of the Cherry Festival. It's the celebration of the blossom, which is the indication of the harvest to come. So as you know, we're here. We are the sweet cherries. But the blossom, I love this because it's a native belief, and that's huge. That's our part of our culture. And it is celebrating that blossom, and that means that that cherry harvest is coming. So that's the whole thing. That's what we're celebrating is part of our culture. And then as far as getting into today's, what this means, one, it means our community coming together and celebrating. There's nothing like that. We forget everything that's going on. We forget the politics. We come down and we are just community. Two, there's a financial impact that some people are like, oh, yeah, no, it's huge, guys. Our businesses came off of especially this year, our businesses came off a very difficult winter, economically challenged. Oh my goodness, spending was way down, costs are way up. everything. So they are starving Marvin. That's the only way to put this, and they're hanging on by a thread. Cherry Festival is usually that hinge that helps them make it to when tourism starts. Mm-hmm. Well, now we're diminishing it a little bit. We're seriously concerned. Are we going to get as many outsiders into our community spending dollars as we normally do? This year we may. Tourism is down, spending is down because costs have elevated. Fuel is way up there. So we are expecting less people to come. We're hoping that that impact will make it. People are traditionally coming to our area for Cherry Festival anyway. This year we may see that same amount thinking that it's going to be a normal festival. It's next year I'm actually worried about. Because if they come this year and find out that it's only 1 day instead of 3, next year they'll be less apt to come.
Gotcha.
So it could have its ramifications. And by week time we get to 28 is when I'm seriously worried. Because as it diminishes, people may not come. We're going to have to start all over with some impactful marketing to get people to realize it's back to 3 days. It's this, it's that, to build that back up. So my thing is everybody show up.
Yeah.
And tell all your friends it's still here, but those businesses rely on you. That's why we did the Cherry Hunt Trail for the entire month of April instead of just Cherry Festival weekend.
I didn't know it was the whole month.
Yeah, we're doing it the entire month.
Can you tell me a little bit about it? Because I don't know much.
So this was my concept a long time ago because it's like, I got to get people into the businesses during Cherry Festival, not just the vendors. So we do the Cherry Trail. And it has specials all over town. You can either actually have cherry specials, like cherry drink or whatever food, or just a special happening during Cherry Festival. So then people would go in and take advantage of that. We used to do a passport. If you did it, then you got a stamp. If you filled out the passport, you went in thing and got in a drawing for the prize. Well, we've taken that. Of course, technology has lots of fun things. So we do what's called the Goose Chase app. It's on there. It says the 2026 Cherry Trail Hunt is the title of it. There is specials and challenges and scavenger type hunts that you can go do. And every time you do one, you get points.
Oh, cool.
And then the person with the most points at the end wins the prize.
I'm going to be honest with you. I never knew this was a thing till just now.
Oh, well, then I'll help you later. We got pretty good out of it. Now, this year with the Cherry Hunt, we have now Bigfoot helping us. So he'll be going all over the place to help show the promos, the specials and that. And then we decided to add one more little kicker in there for something new. Every weekend, starting this coming weekend, we're going to have a little scavenger hunt for art. So art will be hidden in our community. If you find it, you keep it. So we'll be doing that, and we have multiple pieces of art. Some have been donated, some have been purchased, and then we got to talk to our final person for Cherry Festival. I got to put a little pressure on. I want a glass cherry. So I got to talk to Andy Nichols a little bit and put the pressure on him. But that's what we're doing, and we're not going to release the first clue until late Friday afternoon. So if people from out of town want to participate in the scavenger hunt for free artwork, they can.
Cool. That's so cool.
So we'll be doing that every weekend through the thing. And then the other part of the Cherry Hunt is it's a physical passport type of a thing. You can pick it up at we have 35 participating businesses. It's all on the website. If you spend $10, every $10 you spend gets a stamp. So if you spent $300 at someone's store, you would get all of those stamps on a card. It's $100 per passport. You put it in, and then every time you spend $100 anywhere, multiple stores or just one, you get to put that in the drawing, and then the person at the end, whoever we draw the passport from, wins the prize. So we'll have 2 baskets worth at least $400 each. That people can do this. So we did the Frosty Trail over winter. And then the Cherry Hunt is being done in the very same fashion. And if you're looking for something, just go to the Dalles Chamber or Northwest Cherry Festival, and we'll get you to the page for the Cherry Hunt.
I'll put both of those in the
I'll get you the links. But yeah, anybody can participate. And
That's
so
cool.
It's fun. There's been some scavenger hunts. Can you do this or do this and take selfies of this? You're doing that. People during the Frosty Trail had a blast, and a lot of them discovered stores that were local people that they didn't know we had.
Oh, that's huge.
So anytime we can get people through the doors of our businesses and do commerce and get those cash registers to ring, that's a check of what we did. We did what we're supposed to do.
That's so cool.
So we'll be doing that all month.
So I can tell that you're very passionate about this.
Oh, yeah.
And you put a lot of time and effort into it. What can you think of a moment, like a peak moment in the last 14 Cherry Festivals that you're like, this is why we do this?
The last 3 years, I have a data system now that shows me how many people have come or in the downtown over a 3-day weekend. In the last couple of years, we've hit 15,000 plus.
Wow.
Of people in our downtown over that 3-day weekend. That isn't 15,000 people per day, but over that 3-day weekend, 15,000 people were in our downtown. And I'm like, that's 15,000 people that got to see businesses, that got to see community.
Yeah.
And if you've never ridden in the Cherry Festival Parade, you need to stop and ride in it, not be looking at it. It is something to see every community member alongside getting all excited and waving at you.
Big smiles.
And, oh my gosh, the whole community smiles. And there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. This is tradition. This is a part of our culture. This is a part of our agriculture. You know, we have the little royals that we honor. We have the king and queen that we honor, the grand marshal, and they all have an agricultural tie. This is just truly the definition of community, and it does wonders for the Dalles. So yeah,
how many people go through on like an average weekend normally?
I'd have to go back. It truly does ebb and flow. Summer obviously is more because of the travel season. Spring break is more, but you know, we have logging of a couple million trips over the last year. And a trip is an individual coming from 50 miles or further, not a local person, coming to the Dalles. So when you have a couple million trips coming into the Dalles, and then they average a 2-night stay. So that's spread out all over the year.
Yeah.
And if we can bring, you know, that's what we work hard at, is making sure we bring outside sales and outside people and visitors all into our community.
Yeah. Local dollars come in.
So, you know, I have some businesses that are 60% reliant on outside sales. Only 40% comes from the community. And if they didn't have that 60%, they wouldn't make it.
Dang, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's huge. And so that's how much we rely on outside sales. And I don't know if people realize how much comes from outside.
Yeah, no, I had no idea.
So it's huge. And so, you know, and if anybody really wants to get into the data, I'm all for it. I'm another data geek. Come over to my office and I'll sit with you. I have a system that is specifically for tracking tourism.
Very cool. That's amazing.
So, yeah.
You talked about the parade earlier.
Yes.
I worked at Sparkle Car Wash from 2000. I don't remember. I was 14 till I was about 17. I was the pooper scooper every year. And like, it's so funny because everybody's like, go fire trucks, go horses, go pooper scooper guy.
Yeah, but we need those pooper scoopers. They have an important role.
But when you're trying to be a cool 14-year-old and you're picking up poo and like you're watching the horse in front, he just takes a big old.
But see, I was the band kid in high school that was so afraid of having horses ahead of you because you're so focused straight ahead, you can't look down. And it's like, oh, am I going to step in it? Am I going to step in it? Am I going to step in it with my, So we appreciate the pooper scoopers.
I remember my brother worked with me and he always got to drive the 4-wheeler. And finally, the last year, I got to drive the 4-wheeler.
Well, that's way more fun.
And my brother, he would just talk crap to me the whole time.
Yeah.
Keep going, dude. There's no other spot. I'll wait. That one's bigger. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till I can drive it.
Well, I marched that Cherry Festival parade many years as a band student, both junior high and high school. So
I did it with the big drum for the first couple years. I quickly switched instruments because that sucked.
Yeah, it did. So I did clarinet for a few years, and then I went to the bells, those big, huge things that you had to carry. But we noticed that you could look through the bell thing slots and actually see where you were walking.
Oh, nice.
So we had less chances of walking into something.
Yeah.
So, but
especially if you're wearing like open-toed shoes.
Those weren't allowed anyway. You had to wear the boring band marching shoes, with the wool things over.
Yeah.
Yes.
That 60 students have worn
with
before
the plume. Yeah. Let's not talk about that. With the plume coming out of your hat up above, so everybody could see where you're going and see if your line was doing office. But yeah, I remember those days.
Like, is that mold or dirt? You're like,
it's like, just don't look. Just don't look. Just wear a good long sleeve white t-shirt underneath there. So yeah, just don't look. But yeah, we did that.
Even with all the changes, what are you most excited about for this year? You personally.
April 28th.
Which is when it's over.
I'm going to be honest. No, the highlight that I actually enjoy the most is not only the parade, because people get so creative. The Great Cherry Adventure is the theme this year. We thought they have lots of open license there of what they want to choose, but there's nothing like the little royals. There's just nothing like these little kids between 3 and 7. By the way, I'm not sure when this will air, but today is the last day, just so you know, for people to nominate their little royals. Then we start voting on Wednesday. So, but that, and then we actually have a window decorating contest for their businesses, which are free for them to do it. Center Market is sponsoring it. And if they win, they get cold hard cash.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
and you're creating drops for window washers.
Yeah, there we go. See, that's creating commerce once again. But we do that because it just builds that community feel, having the windows all decked out. And I've already seen lots of cherry merchandise in the front windows, and it's like, yes.
Awesome.
Because I'll be honest, 11, 12 years ago, there wasn't a lot. And we've built it up enough that people realize that when visitors come, they want some cherry fun.
Yeah.
And so they've got all kinds of cherry in their different stores doing cherry prints and all of that. So we're super excited, but those little royals.
Well, it makes a big difference. And I think that the people who aren't from here, they can see the support or non-support.
Yeah.
If you have Cherry Festival stuff, you have cherries in your windows, you're selling cherry stuff. Whereas you don't, they're like, oh, so like people don't.
Right.
Care or what?
Yeah. So Clint's is even carrying a fun story about someone who is responsible for the Bing name of the cherries. So they're carrying a book that is all about that, and it was written, and the artwork is beautiful in it. So I love it that there's a different aspect of Cherry Festival in almost every one of our stores.
Yeah.
And then having the windows decorated, for the theme. Last year they went crazy with the fun theme. And they just had a blast, and we just giggle and smile as the team who's coordinating this whole thing when we see it all come together and people get excited over it and that. So, the whole thing, is it worth all of this stress and stuff? This year, I'll let you know on the 28th. But yes, overall, this is worth it. I'll go back to we become community. We leave stuff behind. We forget all of the stuff that we like to bicker over and don't agree on, and we put it all aside, and we come together and we sit side by side and just smile so big at, this is our community. Yeah. We're proud of it.
Yeah. And like you said, when you're going, you're supporting the businesses, you're supporting the vendors. If you're upset and your negativeness is going to go nowhere, to be honest with you, it's not going to accomplish anything. So this is what it is this year. It's temporary, and just come support, the people in our community.
Yeah. And, it's all there. We've got it all for you. It just looks a little different and feels a little different, but it is all here for everything.
What's the best way for the community to support the Chamber and the Cherry Festival right now? What can they do right now?
So I need volunteers. I need volunteers to help send us notices out to the neighborhoods where we'll be parking, because there is a 3-week process of notifications. I need feet to run and actually put pieces of paper on windshields and in the businesses. I need volunteers to deliver posters and to help put up all over town so we broadcast it. Then I'll need volunteers to help me on the day of, the day before, and the day after. And so there's one aspect. I need more sponsors, even if it's only 25.
For the
volunteers?
Yes. Can that count? Do seniors still have to get community service hours?
Yes, they do, and it does count.
Seniors.
There you go.
You can get community service hours just by putting stuff on doors.
Yeah. So we are still trying to find a garbage patrol. So because it takes that. And if an organization does garbage for us, I mean, we get them a schedule and where they're going to do and what they have to do. Because think about it. Everybody fills up those boxes really quickly. And then you got to do that. If you don't do it, then it's terrible. So what we've done in the past with an organization, we've done the robotics groups, we've done the basketball club, all of that. Then we donate money to that organization and the kids still get community service hours.
Perfect.
So it's a dual win for that piece of it. So yes, and they just need to call our office and they can do that.
Perfect.
And so there's that. And then of course, sponsorships, anywhere from, I think it starts like at $25 and goes up to the 2,000 range. We need it to put it on. And you will be listed on our website. You will be listed on our, all of our social medias that you sponsored. And then we will also have you in our Cherry Festival guide. So we're putting that together. We still have opportunities to advertise in the Cherry Festival guide. And so all of those aspects help. We need windows decorated. I want that community spirit to shine through. So please, you have, I think, until the 20th to sign up for the window decorating. Sooner is better.
Well, especially if you have a business that doesn't have a master drawer, you can hire a local artist.
Yeah, we've got 3 or 4 of them. We'll put those out here probably within the next week, closer to the deadline. That hey, we know of these artists. You might check with them, but we would love the windows to be decorated. People in the parade, that makes it. And then we already have 25 nominations for the Little Royals.
Nice.
So yes,
cool.
Like that cut off on the 6th. But yes, so we have 25 of them. So we're super excited about that. And then we'll start voting. So we need people to vote. We need people to just roll up their sleeves and say, how can I help? We're looking for some fun art donations for our scavenger hunts. It doesn't have to be big. And so we're looking for that, and we'll feature you. We'll talk about you as an artist if you want to do that and donate. And so, and then for people to participate in the cherry hunt. So whether it's the passports or the goose chase, please participate. This helps our businesses greatly. The cherry hunt was sponsored by Explore the Dalles. And so that means that people can just hop on and do this for free. The businesses got to sign up for free. Did not cost them to do this. And yet we're promoting them. And so that is huge. And then doing either the passport or that's great. And so there's all different kinds of ways for you to participate as a business and get some exposure, or as people just to be there and participate and show your support for your community. And then hopefully just show up for the vendor market and the community fair and the children's activities fair. And then to the Cherry Stomp dance. Yeah. The dancing horses will be there too. We'll have them in the afternoon on the 25th around 2:30 in their normal spot. They're the only ones. Well, the car show is in its normal spot, but I was going to say the dancing horses and the car show are the only things that are in the exact same spot that they were last year. Perfect. So, and close to the same times. So we're all good there.
Good. Awesome. Well, any last information you want to share before we wrap up?
The best place to find everything is the northwestcherryfestival.com, all spelled out. Or if you have any key questions, the Dalles Chamber, or give us a call. We would love that because then we can answer any questions all at the same time. But it's 541-296-2231. Perfect. We'll get you there. And then, like I said, I need volunteers.
Yes. Yep, volunteers. And again, you guys just show up. I mean, you're just helping businesses. You're helping vendors. Whether you like the location change or not, it had to be done. And so it was either change or don't do anything. And that's not any of these vendors or businesses' fault. So
no. And so we made sure it happens.
Cool.
So yes, we're excited. So we just, like you said, we need people to show up.
Yep. Well, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I got to know a lot more than I thought I knew, which is pretty common.
Well, that's what we're here for, anytime. So that's what we do though, is we're trying to support community.
Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it.